Part 1. The Invitation Date. October 31st, Halloween night. The chill in the air was palpable as the wind whipped through the ancient oak trees surrounding Willow Creek Manor. A fog rolled in, obscuring the once familiar landscape in a ghostly haze. Inside the manor, a group of friends gathered for a Halloween party, their laughter echoing through the creaking halls. Among them was Sarah, a young woman with a fascination for the supernatural. She had heard rumors about the manor's dark history, whispered tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplained occurrences. Intrigued, she'd convinced her friends to join her for a night of spooky fun. As the night wore on, the atmosphere shifted. The playful banter gave way to a sense of unease. Strange noises echoed from the attic, and cold drafts seemed to emanate from nowhere. Sarah's friends began to feel a growing sense of dread. Then, a peculiar invitation arrived. A handwritten note, addressed to Sarah, was found on the antique dining table. It read, "Come, if you dare. The spirits await." The invitation was unsigned, but Sarah was convinced it was a message from the spirits that haunted the manor. She felt a strange pull towards the unknown, a desire to uncover the secrets of the house. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, Sarah announced the invitation to her friends. To their surprise, they were all eager to join her on this ghostly adventure. As they ventured deeper into the manor, they little knew that the night would hold horrors beyond their wildest imaginations. Part 2. The descent. The group descended into the manor's basement, their flashlights cutting through the thick darkness. The air was heavy and musty, and the floorboards groaned beneath their weight. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like ghostly tendrils, and the faint sound of dripping water echoed in the stillness. As they explored the basement, they discovered a hidden door behind a loose brick. With a hesitant push, Sarah swung it open, revealing a narrow, winding staircase that led deeper into the depths of the manor. Hesitantly, they began their descent. The staircase was damp and slippery, and the air grew colder with each step. The only sound was the creaking of the stairs and the occasional rustle of unseen creatures in the darkness. At the bottom of the stairs, they found themselves in a large, underground chamber. The room was dimly lit by a single, flickering candle. In the center of the chamber stood a massive, stone sarcophagus, its lid partially open. A cold shiver ran down Sarah's spine as she approached the sarcophagus. She could feel a strange energy emanating from it, a dark and sinister force that seemed to draw her closer. Suddenly, a chilling scream echoed through the chamber. One of Sarah's friends, a young man named Ben, had disappeared. Panic set in as they searched the room frantically, their flashlights illuminating the empty space. Then, they heard it. A faint, rhythmic pounding coming from deep within the sarcophagus. As they drew closer, the pounding grew louder, more insistent, and then the lid of the sarcophagus began to slowly rise. Part 3. The Awakening. A chilling figure emerged from the sarcophagus, its eyes glowing an eerie green. It was a creature of pure darkness, its form twisted and grotesque. The group stood frozen in terror, their flashlights trembling in their hands. The creature let out a guttural roar that echoed through the underground chamber. Its movements were swift and fluid, and before they could react, it lunged at Ben, who had been knocked to the ground. The others watched in horror as the creature pinned Ben down, its claws digging into his flesh. The young man's screams were muffled by the creature's grip, and the group could do nothing but watch helplessly. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a blinding light filled the chamber. The creature let out a shriek and recoiled, its form dissolving into a cloud of smoke. The light came from a small ornate crucifix that Sarah had been carrying. Exhausted and relieved, The group stumbled out of the underground chamber. As they ascended the stairs, they could hear the distant sound of a police siren approaching. They had escaped the manor's horrors, but the night's events would forever be etched in their memories. As they stepped out into the crisp autumn air, Sarah looked back at the manor. The fog had lifted, revealing the house in all its eerie beauty. She knew that the spirits of Willow Creek Manor would continue to haunt the living, their dark secrets forever buried within its ancient walls. Part 4. The Aftermath. The following day, the local news was filled with reports of the strange events at Willow Creek Manor. Witnesses claimed to have seen a ghostly figure wandering the grounds, and some even reported hearing eerie screams coming from the house. Sarah and her friends were interviewed by the police, who were baffled by the lack of physical evidence. Despite their terrifying ordeal, the group remained determined to uncover the truth behind the manor's dark past. They began researching the history of the house, poring over old newspaper articles and historical records. They learned that the manor had once belonged to a wealthy family named the Eldridges, who were known for their cruel and inhumane treatment of their servants. One of the Eldridge daughters, a beautiful but troubled young woman named Eleanor, had been rumored to have a dark secret. It was said that she had made a pact with a malevolent entity, granting her eternal youth and beauty in exchange for the souls of those she loved. As Sarah and her friends delved deeper into the Eldridge family's history, they realized that the creature they had encountered in the basement might have been Eleanor's demonic companion. The screams they had heard could have been the souls of the Eldridge family's victims, trapped in the manor's eternal torment. With a newfound determination, Sarah and her friends vowed to return to Willow Creek Manor, this time armed with knowledge and prepared to confront the evil that lurked within its walls. Part 5. The Final Confrontation. Weeks later, Sarah and her friends returned to Willow Creek Manor, armed with the knowledge they had gained from their research. They knew that the manor's secrets were dark and dangerous, but they were determined to put an end to the evil that haunted it. As they approached the house, a chilling wind swept through the trees, sending a shiver down their spines. The manor seemed to loom over them, its windows dark and empty. With a deep breath, Sarah led the group inside. The house was filled with a thick, oppressive silence. Dust covered everything, and the air was heavy with the scent of decay. As they explored the manor, they stumbled upon a hidden room they hadn't discovered before. The room was small and dimly lit, but it was filled with strange symbols and ancient artifacts. In the center of the room stood a large, ornate altar, adorned with candles and strange talismans. A sense of dread washed over Sarah as she realized what she was seeing. This was the place where Eleanor had made her pact with the dark entity. And now, it seemed, the creature was preparing for something sinister. Suddenly, a chilling voice echoed through the room. "You have come to challenge me, mortal." Sarah turned to face the source of the voice. Standing in the shadows was a figure that seemed to shimmer and shift, its form constantly changing. It was Eleanor, but twisted and corrupted by her pact with the dark entity. A battle ensued, a clash of wills and forces. Sarah and her friends fought bravely, their courage fueled by their determination to protect the innocent. But the creature was powerful, and it seemed as though they were no match for its dark magic. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a blinding light filled the room. The creature let out a blood-curdling scream as it was banished back to the depths of the underworld. The manor shook, and then fell silent. Sarah and her friends stood in the ruined chamber, exhausted but victorious. They had conquered the evil that had haunted Willow Creek Manor for so long, freeing its tormented spirits from their eternal suffering. As they left the manor, they looked back one last time. The house stood tall and proud, its windows now bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. The darkness that had once consumed it was gone, replaced by a sense of peace and tranquility.